Start with an update out of southern Kentucky. We are learning new details about the death of a 4-year-old girl.
Police say Chloe Darnell was found buried near a cemetery earlier this month. Brittany Slaughter and Adam Hayes are charged with murder. Slaughter was one of 2 people who had custody of the little girl. Police detailed some of the evidence in the case during a court hearing this morning. WKYT's Phil Pendleton was in the courtroom. He has the details in our top story at noon.
4-year-old Chloe Darnell and Brittany Slaughter had not been seen in quite some time, and police were asked to start a missing persons investigation. Then just about a week ago, the 4-year-old was found buried near a cemetery. Now, Brittany Slaughter and Adam Hayes are charged with her murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence. The sheriff's deputy testified this morning that Brittany Slaughter was finally found in a home on Cumberland Falls Highway. She did tell police she didn't want to be found. Slaughter also told police that Chloe had fallen off a shelf in her bedroom, but because she was high, she didn't call for help. It was also brought out in court that she said Adam Hayes would use corporal punishment on Chloe and often leave bruises on her. Her cause and manner of death is not yet known, but the deputy testified that the little girl did have a number of fractures. The prosecutor says this is simply another very troubling child death case in this community.
Heartbreaking. It really grows old prosecuting homicides in general, but with children it's gut-wrenching. I've retooled a lot of my office for me just to work on these kinds of cases, which makes a hard day's work.
There was also testimony in court this morning that Adam Hayes was described as being the chief disciplinarian, and that he would often spank Chloe for wetting herself and having accidents. The judge did find probable cause in this case, and it's now in a grand jury's hands for consideration of a possible indictment. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And Judge Fred White did agree to